What happens when the world sunk into absurdity? There is only one way to face it: sink with it. Now, when witchcraft meets looksmaxxing, and witch magic unveil the forbidden love, maybe the best thing to do is just to have a little laugh. Yeah, somehow guys are being ridiculously gay, but what can you do? Hello, fellow humans. This is Lots of Hope. Welcome to this episode of The Living Journey, where we escape and explore a life in an alternate universe. Thank you for your support. Now, let's decompress. Pact. It might be a shock to you, but there are witches living amongst the normal folks. Look around. The neighbor who helped you to clean the snow when you were busy at work. The grocery store butcher who always finds you the best piece of steak. Or the gym front desk girl who always smiles so brightly when members walk in. One of them or their families might be a witch, just like Tanya. Our little witch Tanya grew up in a loving family. Her father was a rough-on-the-edge blue-collar, and the mother, who might look like a superhero housewife, capable of maintaining the house, doing laundry, cooking delicious food, socializing with friends and neighbors, while keeping herself in the supermodel shape. Their family had moved so many times. She could barely remember where she grew up in when she was younger. But Tanya had witnessed her mother performing rituals, putting old furniture into the new home with a spell and ease. However, when she confronted her parents, they both played ignorant. "Oh, silly. Mom just rehearsing for Halloween," her dad said. "In June?" Tanya asked. "Dad, have you realized that Mom bewitched you to love her?" "No, I loved her before she found her power." Her father slipped. Knowing he accidentally revealed the family secret, he nervously laughed. "I'm just kidding, just kidding." Tanya didn't buy it. She found out from her grandma that not all related offsprings can be witches. The magic might appear for the ungifted children, but only real witches can perform over 3 successful rituals. Even though you came from the most powerful bloodlines, there still might be a chance that you are just a normie. Grandma warned, then comforted her. "Don't worry, there hasn't been a non-witch in our family for 900 straight years." Grandma thought that would make Tanya happier, but the stress of breaking the bloodline magic scared her even more, and the fear grew more and more with each year of Tanya's life. Tanya practiced and had never given up attempts. First, it was to pass her exams without studying. The ritual failed. Then, it was making a boy fall in love with her. The ritual failed. Tanya got depressed, tried to win the lottery, tried to stop the wars on the news, tried to make herself look gorgeous like her mother. All the rituals failed. Obviously, that was a huge ask, but with disappointments after disappointments, she got hold of the reality. Because of the hobby of memorizing magic spells from her mother's library, she found joy in reading books and was able to graduate high school with honor. Got accepted into a prestigious university with a comfortable scholarship. To her parents, she had the best life possible, especially with her mother's opinion, not being a witch, with no need to endure all the prejudice, no flash pass for life's difficulties and challenges, and can live a normal existence. All was just a blessing. But Tanya, seeing the mother able to do the chores with magic, getting into the best shape while eating thousands of calories per day by just practicing magic, and helping others who had fallen out of connections to realize the love again, presumably by magic as well. All of her magic made Tanya jealous. How do I make a guy fall in love with me? I'm a 25-year-old virgin who had never had a relationship. Tanya asked her mother, thinking about her failed proms, the crushes that rejected her, and the lonely 4 years in college with no opportunities to date. Just put yourself out there. It would be much easier than a love spell. Almost only a talented old witch can perform it. Now that you are secured with the job, read books as much as you want, but go out a bit. Go to the gym. You have been obsessed with having a good figure for years. Find a personal trainer. Dad and I will pay for it. Her mother replied. So it happened. Tanya got out of the apartment and went to the gym with her best friend, not to work out together, just to get to the strange space with some support. Wrote down her information and got assigned to a personal trainer. Tanya fell in love instantly. He walked towards them with a smile, wearing a gym logo branded tank top with the broad shoulders and the side of the chest muscles showing. Tanya was hit by a pleasant scent of masculine musk and a tasteful leather and spice blend of cologne. Tanya, her best friend shouted, "Hey!" bringing Tanya back to reality. If mugging was the popular word used to describe a muscled, narcissistic guy craving for all the spotlights, the personal trainer definitely mugged Tanya's sight and heart. The personal trainer introduced himself. Eli. Short and precise. He flexed his shoulders and arms almost instinctively when shaking her hand. No nice to meet you. No glad to work with you. Just his name. So proud and so confident. It stole Tanya's heart. Oftentimes, he stood side by side with his trainer friend William. When Tanya walked into the gym, waiting for the session to start, she often looked at the guys. They looked like perfect pictures that the social media constantly recommended her on her main page. She often thought that the guys on the social media page, stripped naked for views and likes, were super sexual and gay. But she couldn't take her eyes off them. She just liked those photos all the time. Once, she walked into the gym late. Eli and William were nearly naked, their perfectly muscled torsos exposed, shorts pulled to the crotches like inflated speedos, showing their thick thighs, posing together to the camera, threatening the frightened camera with their sharp jawlines and extra wide Dorito triangles. She almost didn't call on Eli to notify him of her arrival. She just wanted to see them enjoying each other. After weight training, Eli prescribed Tanya 30 minutes of cardio, running on the treadmill next to Tanya's. Eli put the machine on an incline tilt, and his speed almost doubled as Tanya's. While she was out of breath, she could see Eli communicating with William by gestures and smiles. Gasping for air, her nose was filled with intoxicating fresh male aroma from Eli, and Eli's words spurred on her. "Run, come on, don't let me catch you up. You will be in trouble. Run, do it for me." Tanya lost weight, not because of the exercises, but because she was thinking about Eli touching her physically while helping her to lift weights. The firm grip on her waist, the gentle whisper in her ears, the constant client checkup texts, all made her fall deeper and deeper in love with him. And she survived on the spiritual diet of bewitching Eli to be hers. So by the time Tanya realized Eli was a homophobe, it was all too late for her. She was madly in love. Tanya walked into the gym realizing the group of personal trainers were having a near physical altercation. Eli with his pal and roommate William versus the rest of the trainers at the gym. Apparently one of the trainers came out as bisexual and is now dating a guy. He kindly invited all the trainers to his house for a weekend barbecue. We are not going to use the same lockers with the faggots, Eli and William said to the rest of the trainers. What should I do? They fired Eli. I'm morally struggling. I want to continue to train with Eli. He's so hot and always texts me back. But he's a piece of shit, and I love him. With the loudest cry that could be heard throughout her building, Tanya begged her best friend for help. But dump him wasn't an option. Having never been in love, never experienced the care of daily messages from a sexy hot man before, Tanya continued to text Eli, pretending there was no prejudice, fantasizing about him and his chiseled body, but with the mind and personality of Samwise Gamgee. When she confessed it to her best friend, she earned the title of totally unhinged. Tanya's bestie said with a sigh, Maybe your mother could help. Change him so he's no longer a homophobe. And there it was, a solution. Tanya was excited, but knowing that her mother would be so upset with her for her to fall in love with a person that's not worthy of her, she could not let her beloved parents know that she was this deranged. A thought of, what if I give the witch magic one more try? Deliriously, Tanya decided to do one more attempt after having to give up on being a witch for so many years. In the name of love, she stole a copy of her mother's magic spells about love. It was a brand new book. The book spine was never broken into, and some pages were still statically glued to each other. Somehow witches gift each other copies of random magic books on Halloween, Tanya's grandma explained to her. The books were expensive to produce in the old days, so witches exchanged books to share and improve their skills. We would be stronger together. The tradition remained. Snuck into her mother's storage attic, the dusty space reminded her of her youth. When she was a kid, after witnessing all her mother's magic, she secretly memorized all the spells there and could recite all the spells with just a bit of memory refreshment. She recalled that she had once memorized a spell to remove all the pride and prejudice, a low-level magic for beginners. Maybe she could actually finally achieve her first witch spell after so many years. Reading the instructions, Tanya did all the preparations. After spending hours on cleaning and tidying up her small studio apartment in the midsummer day, she invited Eli over for lunch. But because Eli doesn't have a car, William needed to drive him over, and because both were fired, they couldn't afford food, so they both would stay for lunch. What the hell? Make his best friend not homophobic as well. If it works, I will be doing the mankind a favor, Tanya thought. When the muscled guys arrived at Tanya's cozy studio apartment, Tanya was nervous, inviting both guys in. They were wearing vintage t-shirt cutouts and tight-fitting shorts. In the square apartment, Tanya laid her bed in the dark corner of the room, leaving the entrance to the opposite corner. On the other side of the apartment was the kitchen, occupying one corner, and the sofa plus dining area pushed to the wall with windows. The two sweaty guys walked in, smelling burnt sage and the rose vanilla candles melting away on the hardwood coffee table, doubled as the dining table, with a pot of odd-looking soup boiling on the stove, bursting with bubbles like lava. Tanya became even more nervous. She had forgotten to put away the magic book, and the book was left open on the counter. You guys can sit there. She pointed at the cozy couch across from the counter. As the guys walked towards the seat, Tanya rushed to the book. As the soup boiled to the point of explosion, magic was ready to be triggered. In a rush, Tanya flipped the page, trying to read the spell on time, not noticing that she had flipped an extra page, skipping the spell of removing pride and prejudice, and jumped directly to falling madly in love with no control. Those muscled bubble butts touched the firm yet soft cushion. The soup to the near catastrophic explosion, and Tanya opened her lips, chanted the love spell. Suddenly, a light shone. The love from Tanya arose from her body, got transferred into the boiling soup, and soup spilled out of the pot, steamed up magical dust, heading towards Eli and William, with a powerful wind from the open book, blowing out the rose vanilla-scented candles, and knocked all three people unconscious. When Tanya opened her eyes, the two guys were still unconscious on the couch, with one's left hand grabbed tightly on the other's right hand, which was holding onto the couch fabric with its dear life. Just as she thought about what had just happened, realizing that the magic had worked, her first of the 3 witch spells had occurred. With excitement, Tanya jumped hysterically on the squeaky hardwood floor, waking up the 2 muzzled jugs on the couch. They opened their eyes, made a sound as if they had just woken up from a night of heavy drinking hangover. Tanya was going to say something, even though she didn't know what to say. She just mumbled and then turned speechless when Eli and William started to kiss. "Wait a minute!" Tanya screamed, but they couldn't hear her. She saw them stripped naked while only having their plump lips detached for only 1 second. They threw their limited articles of clothing in all directions. One pair of sweaty, musky shorts landed on Tanya's head. With all the love towards Eli removed from her body, she snuffed the crotch that covered her nose and almost vomited. She removed the shorts from her head, once again seeing things. She saw Eli had landed his body on the naked and sweaty William, forcing the panting William onto the carefully selected couch. Eli, with one hand funneling William's chest, the other hand pulling William's hair, forcing his chin up, making him gasp for air, begging Eli to kiss him. So Eli spit it into William's mouth, said, "I love you," then kissed William with all the forces in the universe. In a panic, Tanya ran out of the door, locked herself out of the apartment, with no phone, no shoes, and no wallet, but wearing a cute jersey floral dress. It was her first spell, a love spell that bound a couple together forever, unless the death of the witch does them apart. It is one of the hardest and the highest form of spell. Tanya's grandma once told her that if she can perform a high spell like that, she could merely perform all spells. Tanya looked at the narrow and faintly lighted hallway, didn't know where to go, although with the happiness and the confidence that she would soon become a real witch after 2 more spells. She felt like she was trapped. Stood outside of the door, she eavesdropped on the guys in her studio apartment, leaning her head, completely pressing her ears and female gaze against her thin and hollow front door. Although there was no love for Eli left in her, she couldn't help but imagine motions with the painting sound. Eli was on top, pulled William around. "My legs," William said. "Yeah, kiss my feet," and then moaned The young witch was stunned, pressed her ear against the thin piece of wood, listening to the clapping sound with so much pleasure and joy. When both guys screamed in unison, Tanya had no idea what it felt like. She had never experienced the passion and action, but she could relate. The yearning, the need, and the start of something wonderful. She loved it. For the first time in her life, she was on the path to be a witch. Just 2 more spells. She could practice magic, be a powerful offspring from a powerful line of witches, helping people fall in love, giving herself a perfect body, and no more chores. With thoughts touring in her mind, and the sweet pillow talks from the guys, they all fell asleep. The guy fell asleep, cuddling each other, and the witch-to-be fell asleep, holding the success of her first magic spell. When Tanya got woken up by the rattling in her studio apartment, she heard the guys were trying to find glasses for water. I don't know what came to me, one said with shyness. The other replied, Me either. I just really love you. And then she heard, I love you too. Tanya smiled, but when she heard the sound of the page of the book being flipped, and William reads out the line in the book, to break the love spell, the ones under influence must use a knife, stab into the witch's heart. Wait, that bitch is a witch. Then the sound of her chef knife being pulled off the magnetic knife stand scared all the joy out of her. Trying to stand up, not realizing how numb her legs had become, Tanya lost the balance and fell on the squeaky wooden floor and tripped. She's outside. The now gaze once again announced in unison. Tanya barely had time to get up and run away. If it wasn't for the guys being so madly in love, had to kiss passionately after saying the words at the exact time and a cadence with the same tone, they would have opened the door and caught Tanya and stabbed her in the heart. Tanya's feet recovered a bit, limped down the stairs, with the 1 minute advantage of them kissing and nibbling on each other's soles. She ran down one of the 5 floors. But the guys were athletic and well rested, and were about to quickly catch up to her. Thankfully, the guys were freshly in love. With each of the 10 steps they took, one would look at another's naked torso, complimenting on the shorts, perfectly capturing and accentuating the perfectly rounded peachy glute muscles. I had always loved how sexy you are. I can't believe that ass belongs to me now, one said. Then they would start to kiss, with the sound of saliva exchange resonating in the hollow yet narrow stairways. Tanya heard her heart beating like a fire alarm. But hearing the passionate kissing, she couldn't help but stop her steps of escaping, admiring the Greek statues, making out with one's hand, carrying her kitchen knife, ready to stab her in the heart. "Aw," she yearned, accidentally break the trance of love, seeing the guys realizing the reality, and was about to run after her again. She said, "Oh fuck." Then the chase game started again. As the cardio brought Tanya's heart beating so fast, the danger of the knife stabbing into the heart raised her adrenaline level through the roof. "I'm going to die before you can stab me. Slow down, please," Tanya begged. Then the memory refreshed, realizing that there was a spell that could temporarily slow down the time. Tanya attempted the spell, mumbling through with her muscle memories. She spoke the magical words, and the second spell, to her becoming a real witch, got triggered successfully. The world slowed down. Tanya leaned against the wall, taking a long-winded breath, and looked up the stairs, seeing the two guys wearing just pairs of tight-fitting gym shorts with the yellow light from the stairway lights. Their muscles shone with sweat, reflecting so much peace and joy into her eyes. How wonderful it would be if they weren't trying to kill me. I could watch this all day, Tanya thought. Sadly, there wasn't any chance to admire more of the luscious physiques. When the knife reflected the light onto Tanya's eyes, she was shocked back to life. Looking down the apartment building door, an old cast iron door with intricate designs of paisleys, almost like a garden gate, allowing in light and hope. I need to get out there, get to safety, Tanya thought, encouraged herself, and resumed the last mile of her marathon. When she arrived at the front gate, she almost lost her balance. With the knees being so weak, she slammed her body onto the iron gate. With the time slowed down, the gate even rattled in slow motion. She reached out to the turn knob, trying to open that bolt as fast as she could, but in the world that had been slowed down, seconds had become minutes. The turn lock that would only needed a second to unlock needed a decade to be twisted open. Tanya rattled, shook her hands against the knob as if she was shaking the hand of the Pope, who suddenly approved gay marriage, thanking him with all her life and heart, wasting up all the mind and energy. But the knob was as stubborn as the patriarchy. It was not budging, and the gate to happiness and freedom did not open. With the last bit of energy being drained, Tanya turned around, leaned her back against the gate, and was ready to just slide down and let her fate catch up to her. Letting go of the leg supports, she slid down, but before her ass kissed the ground, the paisley-patterned iron decor caught on her dressy knit dress, hanging her on the gate like an old, dirty, sweaty rag. With the magic faded, the guys caught up to her. Seeing the guys holding hands, approaching her with the knife, Tanya struggled, with a limping hand banging on the iron gate, with a weak and tired throat, mumbling for help and gasping for air. Help! The gays! These gays! They are trying to murder me! We are not gay! The guys screamed with anger in unison. We just love each other. Then they tightly gripped each other. Eli reached out his hand with the knife, parked his hand above Tanya's chest. William reached out his hand as well, holding Eli's hand that was holding knife. Seeing the end of herself, the gorgeous faces of the two handsome men, ready to double penetrate her virginity in the most unfortunate way, Tanya closed her eyes. Her life projected onto her closed eyelids. All the smiles, all the happiness, all the birthdays, holidays, life accomplishments, her bucket list, and the unfinished, newly refreshed dreams of being a witch. Seeing all the life, the could, the would, and the should. Tanya reopened her eyes and realized, with the knife being millimeters away from her chest, the guys couldn't push the knife into her chest. Looking at the guys, looking at each other, eyes filled with love, longing to be with each other forever and ever and ever. Eli opened his mouth and said, I truly love you. I'm afraid of the future. If I don't love you anymore, when the spell is broken. Eli dared not to continue. But we can be gay. The world is harsh and mean, filled with ignorance and judgments. William paused, thought about life with each other, the sensation of comfort and safety, the satisfaction of orgasms in each other's body, then continued. If you are there with me, I'm willing to face all the hate with a smile. Tanya, hanging on the iron gate, with her legs spread wide open, and the two sexy men standing in between, couldn't help but awed loudly, with jealousy and admiration. Shut up! William heard her making noise. He silenced her, then looked back at Eli. Eli was touched, with tears welling up in his eyes. He confessed how scared he was at the moment. But since William was willing to be his support, holding his hands to go through all the thick and thins, he found the bravery and encouragement needed in his heart. Eli replied, I'm willing to be your faggot. While holding the knife above Tanya's chest, they closed their eyes, touched each other's soul by kissing on the lips, and with their tongues. They cemented the love and their relationship. Tanya watched enviously, but the knife in their hands that pointed to her chest made the sweat roll down from her forehead. She wanted to open her mouth and explain what happened, but she dared not to break the love and peace, unable to move her body, while being hung and pinned by the knife and the cast iron door, her armpits being choked painfully by her dress. She finally couldn't stand it anymore. Excuse me? Can you move the knife? If you accidentally stabbed me, all the love would dissipate. The couple moved the knife away, then stopped kissing. Tanya explained what happened with a little lie. I was cooking, but I grabbed the wrong book for recipe. Since you guys don't want to break the love spell, I have want to remove the prejudice and inject you with pride. Please let me use it. That's the least I can do. When they were back in the studio apartment, Tanya looked at her freshly cleaned apartment, turned into a war zone after the passionate gay sex. She wanted to take a deep breath to sigh, but she could already smell the strong muscular mask marinating her drywalls and vintage furnitures. Tanya found a mask, put on the mask, and whipped up another pot of witch soup. She boiled it till the edge of explosion, and told the gay couple to hold their hands. Although it was necessary, she just wanted to see their love. With nervousness, the couple closed their eyes, and Tanya chanted the spell that was originally going to be used. As they were anticipating a huge burst like the love spell, the magic to remove the prejudice only made a faint blooping sound, and the soup barely boiled or exploded. So, that was it? The couple asked, not sure if the third spell had happened. Tanya just nodded her head and pretended the confidence of a true witch. Don't you ever doubt a witch? Sending the two bubble-butted jugs out of her apartment, hearing them talking about the people they would need to apologize to, the places they could apply jobs for, and the places to live in the future. Tanya felt the fulfillment and the satisfaction of being a witch for the first time. After closing the door, she opened both of her windows to let the air circulate. With so much excitement and enthusiasm, she chanted a spell that freed her mother from house chores, and the mops started to clean the floor, the bedsheets and the kitchen utensils. started to wash themselves, and the messy room started to clean and tidy up itself. Tanya laid comfortably on the freshly vacuumed couch, calling her parents and her best friend to notify them of her newly minted witchwood, completely unaware of the danger from the curious and judgmental neighbors from across the street, looking into her busy and magical studio apartment. That's all for this episode of The Living Journey. I truly am grateful for your time. Feel free to leave your reviews. Please like, follow, or subscribe. Do share this show so we can grow together. Lots of hope. Signing out.